So it's a great privilege to welcome Barbara Brodsky here today. Barbara's a dear friend of mine. We've been friends since about 2 weeks after we started the center. She has been the guiding teacher of the Deep Spring Center for 30 plus years. And a long time ago, not sure how long it was, but sure, she became profoundly deaf after the birth of her children. And it was, as you might suspect, greatly troubling. You know, there was anger and frustration and wishing that it were different. And one day, she became aware of a presence in the room. And it turned out to be Aaron, who was her guiding light. And Aaron has been a blessing to many people since that time, because he is a being of infinite love. In the last incarnation of Aaron, some 500 years ago, he was a Buddhist meditation master, teacher. And in the course of the last dozen years, Barbara has journeyed to Abidjan, Brazil, to be involved with John of God and the healing energy work that goes on in Abidjan. And she has become a daughter of the Casa and is authorized by the entities that hang out at the Casa to lead groups of seekers to the Casa. And in that process of hanging out at the Casa, she has deepened her abilities and opened herself to a deeper level of channeling. And in the last few years, she has channeled not only Aaron, but the mother and Father John and a bunch of other people, and including Jeshua ben Joseph, who is the author of A Course in Miracles and is commonly known as Jesus. I was at Barbara's house a couple of weeks ago, and we were having lunch and talking, and she said she wanted to do something for Interfaith, because they're renting space from us now, and we've bent over backwards to make it work for them. And she was feeling grateful. And I said, well, how about being our guest speaker on Christmas morning? And she said, sure, and Jeshua would like to speak. In fact, he'd be delighted to speak to us today. And so my eyes lit up. Some other time, not today, I'll tell you the story of my experiences with Jeshua. And they are very deep and powerful experiences. So I can tell you that when his energy comes through, you'll know it. You will have an experience of his presence right here in this room this morning. So it's my great pleasure to welcome Barbara and to have her open herself to the presence of Jeshua ben Joseph.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm just going to stand here, got the chair for I can stand, but not for long periods. So when Jeshua comes in, he will sing. But good morning and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I had a funny experience. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I had a funny experience this morning. I got dressed and I put on what I thought was a very pretty bright red jacket with some flowers on it. Christmas. Aaron doesn't usually make strong suggestions, but he looked at me and he said, "Do you feel that's appropriate for Yeshua?" And he said, "It's a pretty jacket for Barbara." I said, "Would Yeshua care what he wears?" And he said, "No, Yeshua would not care, but given the choice of this jacket, the red one, or this softer gray one, he would choose the gray one if he had a choice." He's going to use the box. He can wear what he prefers. So I'm just going to sit down and let Yeshua incorporate. When Spirit incorporates, I am out of the body. Is there anyone here who has not been here and heard me channel before? Aaron or anyone? It looks like me. But Yeshua will come through and I have no idea what he says, what he does. I'm not here. So I will take off for a while and Yeshua will be here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Recording. You're recording it also? Okay. David, does it have to be right in the center of my face? Can it be down a little bit? Okay, that's better. My love to you all. I am the one that you have called Yeshua, or in your English language, Jesus. You do not have to believe I am really Yeshua. If what I say speaks to your heart, embrace it. Otherwise, discard it. So you wonder, how can I be Yeshua? I am not able to deal with this, so may I push it away a bit? Can you still hear me?
Yes.
I need to move the arms. Each of you is a spirit, a radiant and beautiful spirit. I apologize, but we need to change this. I see a stool there. Can I sit on that stool? I could probably stand for this 20 minutes. Let's have the stool. I need to be more upright. How are you? Are you having a beautiful morning?
Yes. Thank you.
You were born this morning. Not me, all of us. Let me go back. Buttons to push, microphones, technology. Okay, now I can swing my arms without knocking over the microphone. So let's come back to Christmas today. The day you think of as the day of my birth. Some of you have asked, why did I come? If you had a loving father who came to you and said, son, I have an errand for you, a vital errand, would you be willing to do it? You're stretched out there in the sun, beautiful music playing, friends engaged in a very meaningful and brilliant dialogue, delicious food. You want me to get up and go down there? Well, of course I will. My father asks, what could give me more joy? So I knew it was going to be hard work. In a sense, he said to me, my people are lost in the darkness. You were created with free will, a spark of the divine, a spark of God. You came into an incarnation, radiant, and immediately forgot who you were. Forgetting that you were a light, you began to wander into the swamps, into the forests, into the dark holes. Fear arose. You were not guaranteed when you came to earth that there would be no darkness. In fact, you came to experience that darkness, so that out of your free will, still trying to control this. Please bring me that book. Just one hand up, so I have something to hold on. Out of that free will, you could choose, and it is just a matter of choice, to choose to be the light, to choose to turn your back on fear, on hatred, on greed, and to bring forth this light because of your free will choice. This is the power of your human incarnation. So here you came into this wonderful opportunity. And you had as many tries as necessary to manifest yourself more as light. But you were moving more and more into the dark areas. So my father asked that candle is held up in a dark place, it shines its light out. Each of you are asked to be the candle. Not to bring the candle into a place of darkness where it's invisible, but to hold it up in the darkness and to let it radiate out. It's too hard, you say. Well, is it going to be easier if you collapse into that dark pit? You have a free will choice. Love one another. That is the simplest and clearest of what I have asked of you. Love one another. It's easy to love the people here. Don't you love those who are terrorists killing people across the world? How do we love them? They are the ones who most need your love. Now, I'm not asking you to take the airplane and to fly across the ocean and walk up to a terrorist and hug him and say, I love you. Although perhaps that would be effective. You are energy and light. And when instead of greeting what you see as a negative with fear, you begin to note this is also a spark of God. The spirit, trapped in a lower consciousness, wanting to evolve, to burst out of the darkness and not knowing how. I will hold up my candle. I will more fully know myself as a love and as a light. When people get into the negative stories, what will we do about this or that part of the world? What will we do about this country? So many of you are troubled by the present election and various political figures. What do we do about it? Love one another. Love one another. What does it mean to do that? One form of love is deep listening. It's very different to say, I hear you, but I'm right. Listen to me now. You're wrong. Different than to just stand and listen, and listen, and listen. If you listen and finally he tells you, now that you've heard me, you've got to go and punch this person of a different nationality or race. No. I've heard how you feel, but I won't do that. You didn't hear me. You're not listening. Well, I listened to you, and this is your truth. But I hold to my truth, and my truth is that we are all children of God. We're all sisters and brothers here. And I will not heed anybody. If he can't hear you, he can't hear you. But love begins with listening rather than oppositionality. Not to separate yourself from others who have different views, but to love them as I love you. And there is no one here with whom I have identical views on everything, but I love you. It's as simple as that. Now I am looking at that clock in the back. 10 minutes. Shall we open this to questions? Will you help with the questions? Will you sit back down on the stool?
So, Jesus does open mic time. Who has a question? Jesus doesn't bite.
We swing around that way.
There are many people from different branches of Christianity who say you came and died for our sins. What do you say you came to do 2,000 years ago?
Thank you for the question. Where did it come from? Thank you. What did I come to do? I'm trying to adjust myself to the microphone. I came to remind you that you are God, an expression of God, that you and our Father are one, as I and the Father are one. I came to remind you that as that divine expression of God, you were eternal. The human body does. The core essence of you is eternal and cannot die. The crucifixion, well, it didn't have to happen precisely that way. Crucifixion was the normal punishment of that time. I wasn't singled out in that. But I did have to leave the body in a certain way in order to demonstrate through the resurrection that you are eternal. If I am eternal, you are eternal. You cannot die. Only the body can pass away. So if you remember the essence that you are and that live from that essence, upon death of the body, the deceasement of the body, the consciousness continues, knowing who you are as an expression of God, a divine spark of light, bringing love. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me say one more thing here. Every religious organization tries to create its own body of belief. Certainly I was not a Christian. I appreciate the love that formed the Christian church. But as with any body of religious material, there are distortions. From my perspective, there is no original sin. You are born in light and in love. Picture an infant, washed clean from the birth, unstained and beautiful, and then it turns into a 3 or 4-year-old and goes out crawling in the mud. Well, we can't say the child is no longer free of any dirt. Well, the mud is external. The mud is not the essence of that being. The light is the essence, and the mud, if you pick up a mud, go and wash it off. So many of you have struggled with feelings of unworthiness that are grounded in this whole concept of original sin. I see that I'm being filmed over there. Am I stepping inside of your frame? I didn't realize that. I'll try to stay still.
Don't worry.
So many of you move into feelings of and told that you're a sinner. Do not turn to me to do this for you. Look to yourself. Baptize yourself. Wash yourself clean. Let the waters of light and love pour over you and wash away everything until all that is left is the radiant core. And then remember that core. Your light. Your love. Is there another question?
Jesus, in the Bible, we have a lot of examples of you conversing with people. And many times you gave surprising answers that showed your love. I was wondering what was going on inside of you at those times when many would have been hateful or less than helpful. So what was going on inside of you?
When we forget our connection to Mother, Father, Source, and find ourselves separate with the illusion of separation, then the human consciousness takes over. Human consciousness can easily move into fear and the expressions of fear like greed and hate. When you live your life in such a way, with prayer and meditation as a part of your daily experience, to stay connected to that divine life, put your hands up with me. Feel the love coming into you. Feel the energy around you. This is not separate from you, this is you. Thank you. You may put your hands. Could you feel that energy?
Yes.
It takes practice. It takes a willingness to remember. Not to slip into the habitual patterns of heat and fear. When you do slip into those patterns, that doesn't make you bad. You are not evil. This is what you came for. To practice making the free will choice. No, I will not go into the darkness. Now, many times I had that experience of being pulled toward the darkness by something that was just so terrible. It broke my heart. And I had to remember, God and I are one. God is within me, and I am within God. The Father is within me. And I am within the Father, and I cannot lose that essence of love. Some of you ask, what would Jesus do? Let's ask, what would our Father, Mother, Creator do? Does that Creator love one being more than another? Does he love one who is on a path of fear and hate less than he loves one who is on a path of love? How could that be? So when you remember who you are and try to stay centered in the light that you are, I won't say it's not hard. There are times, I believe my friend Aaron has told him some of his Christmas stories. A few times when he watched me struggle with anger. When I was was a boy. There were times when I felt angry. However, there's a story of my moving through the temple, seeing the moneylenders tossing the tables. And people say, see, he felt anger and he acted out of anger. No, I didn't. If you saw your beloved Job, torturing a small animal, would rage come forth? Can't do that if you smacked him. Or would what come forth and be immense sadness and saying a strong no, an overturning of tables, money lenders and so forth. That story is enough. But I was not expressing anger, but saying no. In my Father's house, you may not do this. So I want you to feel the difference between anger and a strong compassion that may touch deep sadness, but is a beast in non-separation. Can you feel the difference? Do we have time for another question, or shall we get to another question? Hey, you are in charge.
Right.
Michael's, yes. I have a question. It's from the audience, it's not from me. And there are people in the world who believe that there's a tomb in Kashmir, India, that holds the remains of the body of Jeshua.
There is a woman today.
The body of Jeshua.
Why would you want to know where my body lies? My body is nothing but dust.
Not my question.
Do we finish up? So I'm going to move away from your microphone here, and I just want to step out and embrace you all with a love. You are never apart from me. Never. How can I leave you? You are in my heart, and I am in your heart. We are brothers, brother and sister. You are the sons and daughters of our Father, just as I am, and the consciousness that flows through it, and which I brought into the earth. Well, what do you think of this Christmas Day? You are all bringing that into the earth, and your work here is to do that with increasing power, knowing your power. Don't be afraid of your power, because it is the power of love. But when that power begins to drop itself into places of fear and anger, take care of it. Investigate the fear. Investigate the hatred. All right. And he said Do you see 3 lights here, or 3 lights circled by 1 light? Can you feel that? Can you see the place where our energy fields pull together and move up and out? The divine lady embracing us all. Embracing all of you. Thank you. I embrace you. Know that you are love and that you are the midwife, birthing yourself into a higher consciousness on this day. And the willingness to do that work through this year. So that next year on Christmas Day you can ask yourself, how is the birth coming? Has the baby come forth yet? My blessings to you all. Thank you for being with me today. Please remember, you are love. Remember the commitment to be the love that you are. For this is the light that will save the world. When I say save the world, no, I don't expect it to demolish itself. This is the light that will help bring the world more smoothly into this birth to higher consciousness, which is the primary work that all of you are here to do. I love you. I'll leave you now. Thank you. Thank you, Yeshua. Miss Dave, let me just say something to them for 1 minute. Aaron every year tells, Aaron is another entity that I most often chat. And he tells beautiful stories of his lifetime knowing Yeshua, growing up as boys together. Aaron's, it's called 47 Stories. We have a few of those books available for sale if anybody wants them. And there was some other message I was supposed to share with you, and I have not a clue what it is. So if I think about it, I'll share it. Thank you.
Thank you.
After being out of the body like that for a while, it's very hard to come back into Arbor consciousness and think coherently.